Okay guys, so just a reminder, this is a continuation of yesterday's video. If you didn't catch that, that is part one of this. You will have missed the disassembly and swapping out a few of the parts and components. So if you didn't catch that, I recommend you go back and watch that one first so you know where we're at, what we're doing. If you have watched it, well, thanks for coming back, and we'll go ahead and finish her up today and bring you along. So it looks like we are 1 1/4 turn out. So there's a quarter, there's a half, there's one, that's where it was. Make sure these are clean when you're putting them back in, putting the new ones in. The whole point of this is to clean it out and have new parts in it. You don't want any gunk sitting in there from when you took the old one out. So you don't want to introduce any new dirt. Okay, now we should be set right back to where we were. So that's done. Let's see, what we got left is, this is a new piece for the choke that we'll put in when we get to that. Here's our new gasket. It's always a good idea to change the gaskets out. Mine was getting pretty old and nasty anyway. So the bowl's ready to go back together. I'm gonna put this piece back in. The new needle has a little thin wire hook at the top of it that goes around this little flap here, little tang, whatever you want to call it, and holds the needle valve. Oops. So we'll hang that on there. Make sure that's cleaned out so it'll seat properly with the new one. Slip it down in there. And then we just slide the pin back through here. And it's this is a compression fit. So I'm gonna get my pliers. So I'm gonna use a channel locks and just kind of squeeze that pin the rest of the way back in there. And you can see the head of it here where we came out. Squeeze that in gently till it's flush. And you'll see it just poke out the other side. Now that's free. There's a little spring in the needle valve. And if you're not sure which direction this goes, if we can get the light just right, you can see these little wear marks on the arms from where the floats have been rubbing. So you know that faces this way, it's going to be facing the bottom. And we forgot a piece. Put this new main jet in. We forgot to put this ring here back on. Okay, now we're ready to put the bowl back on. You want to tighten these back down. Don't want to go all the way tight on any of them until you've at least got all of them started. But you want to tighten them back down, basically like you would torque anything. Can't do a star shape, obviously there's 4, but we'll go corner to corner. Just kind of crisscross back and forth. Until we got it nice and snug. And it's just, you want to pull it down gently from all 4 corners to make sure that you're actually sealing properly all the way around. Right, now that should be ready to go back in, change the choke piece out, and that is probably what this spring goes to. But we'll change that out when we're getting back to the machine. Other than that, we still have the main jet, the main jet needle that we'll put in, but that we'll have to take apart over there. Okay, so disassembly on this, you can call it the throttle piston, throttle slide, whatever. It's going to be a little tricky to show, I think. Basically, you're going to have to push your main jet needle up through it to compress that spring. We got to kind of pull the spring back until we can get, don't know that I'm going to be able to show it well, but the way the throttle is in there, it's just kind of slipped in between a couple layers, and you got to move it until the head of it there can come out of the hole in there. And now hopefully I can leave it hang like that and not lose everything. So now we can pull the main jet needle out. It's got a little circlip on there. We've got a new one with our kit. Slip the new one through there, put it back together. Now it's important to note, when you take the old one off, you can see the circlip on there. I don't think I can show you with the camera, but there are little notches at the top of this. So you need to count how many notches that circlip is down and put the new circlip on the new main jet valve in the same spot. Okay, we got the circlip where same spot where it was on the other one. And I'm thinking that that nylon ring might actually be intended to go here to help this seal up, to keep tramp air from getting through. So I'm gonna put it there. It's a perfect fit, and that could be part of the problem I was having with it. If it doesn't run right, I gotta take it back out. It's, you saw when I took it apart, all I had to do was unscrew that main cap. This whole assembly came out, so it won't be difficult to take it back out to change if I have to. So now I've got to get this thing finagled back down in there. Yeah, the plate came out. So I believe it just goes like that. Slipping this back down through the hole. And there's a little kind of a second hole in there that it slides into, and that actually pushes this plate in here over to hold the hole, to close the gap where it would normally come out. So I think she's all set up there. And then when we put this back in, this is where the idle adjust screw actually rubs. This is also angled, and you'll see a little spot there where it wears in. And this notch will line up with a couple of pins inside there, so it only goes in one specific way. So while we're over here, I'll try not to get that needle dirty. I'm going to want to get this off. And that just slides. I'll show you a better shot of it. Same as like a brake cable. The head of it slides in, and then when it pulls tight, it holds it in. So we've got our shiny new spring, which is really hard to hold tension on, because that spring is certainly tighter than what the old one was. That should be just a jam nut here, I believe. And we can thread both these pieces inward to relieve the pressure that we need on the spring. There we go. And now I'll make sure to try to tighten this back up to about where it was before. And make sure you snug the jam nut back up. Alright, I think that's the last piece. Okay, so the only piece we ended up having left over was the little O-ring. I believe it goes on the bottom of the bowl. It just doesn't seem very substantial, and the diameter is a little bit large, so I'm going to reuse the old one for now. If I have any trouble with it, obviously, like I said, I'll run to the hardware store, pick up an O-ring there that's a little beefier, fits it a little bit better, and replace it then. Apparently, fingers crossed, I guess, I got the right kit. Like I said, most of these 400 two-strokes are the same engine, same carburetor. They were used them on a lot of Polaris four-wheelers back in the, I think, mid to late 90s, early 2000s. So hopefully this takes care of my problem. If not, I guess we'll make another video and try to figure out what else is wrong with it. It runs great. I've been using it to plow snow. Seems like it runs better when it's really cold out, so I maybe need to adjust the idle air control. We'll see what it does. I might toy around with that, let you know. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs down. That's fine. Leave a comment. Got any questions, comments, let me know. I try to check it about every day, so if you got any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. And I appreciate you watching it. Thanks. I'll see you next time.